Hello and welcome to this Moodle demonstration video. In today's short demonstration, we are going to be looking at the glossary that's available within Moodle. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that we are on our page and we have editing turned on. And as usual, we're going to click the Add Activity or Resource button, and you'll find Glossary just below Forum in the middle. As always, when you click on it, it will allow you to look at some advice and guidance about the different ways in which a glossary can be used. So essentially, it's a mini encyclopedia of different keywords and information that can be linked to across the site as well. So if the keywords pop up in other areas on this course, then the learners can click on those links and go to the glossary definition. So a really good way of reinforcing particular terminology within the subject area. So there are some examples here: a collaborative bank of key terms, a getting to know you space where students can add their name and personal details, a tips and resources section, share an area of good practice and videos, or revision of facts. So again, the tool is the tool. It's only restricted by how creative you are in being able to use it for an educational purpose. So we're going to click glossary and we're going to click add. And we get presented with a few boxes. As always, we get our name and general description, so the description about what the glossary will be about. So we're going to call this one, bit of a theme going on here, blended learning terms. And in here, I'm going to ask my learners to submit your ideas and thoughts about different blended learning terminology. So that's the focus on the theme. I want to use this as a general terms and revision activity, and this is a really good way of getting learners to engage with the subject content. It can be something that can be done from home or out of the classroom, so it's a really good blended learning activity, and it's quite creative in the way that it can be presented, which I will show you in just a second. So as always, display the description on the course page, and some glossary types here. We want to keep it a secondary glossary because this is for a particular task. And then we get some options for entries. So these are the settings for how the learners can put content into the glossary. So approved by default, yes. We don't need to have any approval. We're just letting the learners, go to town. Always allow editing. No, they can do it, and then they get 30 minutes afterwards in which to change their edit if they want to. But we kind of want to restrict that so things aren't too polished. We can come to that later. This is the students' work that we want to assess and challenge and so forth. Duplicate entries. It could be that you could differentiate this activity by giving different learners different entries to focus on, or you could just let them all do it and decide whether there are duplicate entries. So I'm going to set that to yes, because I'll be interested to see how many different learners come up with different ideas about the same topic, and that will create a bit more of a discussion as well. Allow comments on entries. I don't think we need to at the minute. Again, we could expand that so that every learner was to post something in the glossary and other learners could comment on that to share their thoughts on it. A little bit like a Wikipedia, where it can be, crowdsourced and other people contribute to create the content. And we want it to automatically link glossary entries. So any key terms that appear within the Moodle page, in the text, in any of the labels or any of the assignments or anything like that, that will link to this glossary entry. So this is really, really great to do from kind of early doors on your course, so that there's a bank of knowledge there that the learner can refer to without having to contact you, the internet, or other learners. They can be self-sufficient in that aspect. The appearance. There's several different display appearances that you kind of have to play with to customize to see how you want it to work. We can have a simple dictionary style, a more encyclopedia one, or the one I really like is this full with author, because that will allow us to view all of the text, any images, all of the web links, and tell us who's done it. So that you can, share that as good practice and praise learners for their work. So we're going to select full with author. And most of the other settings are generally just great as they are. So we don't really want to mess around with that too much. Again, there are some links here to be able to link it to assignment grades and ratings and things like that. But at this time, we don't really want to focus on that. We're using this just purely for a formative revision style activity. So I'm happy I've got most of my content there. I'm going to click Save and Return to Course. And you'll see here that we've now got this glossary icon, blended learning terms. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to enroll or view this page as I would do from a student's point of view. So you can see what it would be like for them completing the glossary. So here's my page, and this is the student view. And I'm going to click on blended learning terms. So currently there isn't anything in my blended learning terms because nothing's been done. But you can see I can browse by the alphabet, category, date or author. So I'm going to click add new entry. And I am going to type in flipped classroom. So I'm going to put a definition for the flipped classroom. So very briefly, the flipped classroom is when the lecture element is delivered online with the practical element done in class. Very, very brief, very basic, but within there I could add some keywords. I can add images and other things like that. So if I wanted to relate that to a particular image or video, I could say, right, okay, let's find something that works with that one. So we'll just go and search for a video, for a picture. And I'll think, actually, that one would suit that quite nicely. So we'll insert that image. It's going to be quite big, this. So I'm just going to alter the size of that a little bit. And I might also decide, you know what, there's a really good video on YouTube about that. So I'm going to add a YouTube about that, which will further support my thoughts and feelings. So it's demonstrating learners kind of research skills and so forth. So I like this one here. And again, I can test the video. I'm going to click insert and I've got a video there. I could also attach files as well. So if I had particular documents that I wanted to upload, I could do. And then you get the choice of showing the entry should be automatically linked. I'm going to click yes, which means that when flipped classroom appears anywhere on the course, I'll be able to link to the glossary. So I'm now going to save the changes. So this is as a student, and I can see that my entry has been put in there for flipped classroom. So I can see that I've got a picture and I've also got a video related to it. So you can see very, very quickly and very in quite a straightforward way that you can start to create, this peer library of content about anything to do with your subject area, whether it's particular terminology, in hospitality, it could be names of dishes, it could be types of recipes. In construction, it could be to do with different types of health and safety terminology or names of tools or so forth. There are so many different ways that it can be used, and the thing is that the learners are doing it for themselves, and you can go in and view that. And it's just a very simple way to get learners engaged and thinking about the subject area. So that is the glossary. Thank you for watching this demonstration.